everyone, and welcome to the University Sew Paige Blouse tutorial part 2. Let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to sew the ties on the front. On the right side of your piece, you should have had a notch right here and a notch right here on both sides. That is where you're going to be placing and sewing the tie on. So grab one of your ties here, and the pointed part should be at the top, like so. Okay, so now take your tie and place it right in between those two notches, like so. Okay, so grab some pins, and then you're going to pin through all layers because you're going to be sewing it right here. Okay, so you're gonna sew it just right along this edge. You can do a 1/4 seam allowance because we're gonna be sewing the front to the back anyway. Okay, so now when you go to sew it on your sewing machine, you can position it like this and just sew right along there, like so. Okay, so after you're done with that side, we can go ahead on and pin the other side. So just grab your other tie again, do the same thing, and you're just going to stitch it along here the same way. Okay, so you could sew both sides at the same time or do one at a time, whatever you like. But basically that is how you'll sew the ties on. After you sew the tie to the front bodice, the stitch will look like this. Okay, so now that we're done with the keyhole in the back, we're going to start on the hem. For the hem, you will fold it up and iron it just to make it easier to sew. Okay, for the first step, we're going to fold up this hem here a 1/2 inch all the way to here and into this corner on both sides, okay? Just like that. All right, so for the side slit, we're going to do the same thing and just fold it up a 1/2 inch, like so. Okay, you're going to do it here and here. Okay, so here's the hem we're working on. Again, I have my hot pressing ruler. Okay, so you'll just fold it up a 1/2 inch and press it with your iron. Like so. And then I'll do the center back seam. Fold up 1/2 inch and press. Okay, and now I'll do in between. Okay, so it'll look something like this. And now we'll do the same thing to the side slit seam allowance. Fold it up a 1/2 inch and press it. Okay, so now that we have this side done, we'll start working on the other side. And I like to use my hot pressing ruler this way because the hem is slightly curved, but you can do it the long way or whatever way is easier or best for you. Okay, so now we'll work on the side slit on this side. Okay, so as we are finishing up here, the next thing we're going to be doing is folding it up another time to make a double fold hem. Okay, but before we do that, we have to finish the miter corners, so I'll show you that next. Okay, so this is what the hem should look like, folded up and pressed. So now we will begin working on our mitered corner. This is the slit seam allowance, and then this is the hem seam allowance. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this corner and fold it in half like this, and just fold it in half nicely and make sure both sides are matching, like so. Okay, and you can lay it nice and flat. So next you're gonna get your ruler, and you can use your plastic see-through ruler for this. Okay? And so what you're gonna do is you're gonna measure 1/4 in away from the edge, like so. Okay? And this 1/4 is going to actually be your stitching line. Okay? So you can mark it with your marker, your fabric marker, or you can use a pin. Okay? So I'm gonna use a pin here, and I'll just pin it. Okay? 1/4, okay, and now you're ready to sew it. Okay, so this is a stitch that we stitch 1/4 away from the end there. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn this corner right side out. Okay, so you're going to take this seam allowance here and you're going to push it to one side, turn it right side out. Make sure you get a nice sharp corner here like that. Okay, so far it should look something like this. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to get a pin, and you're going to pin this side slit flat and out the way there. Okay. Alright, so next what you're going to do is you're going to take this and you're going to pull it up to there. So just take it and fold it up just like this, okay, and pin it. This is going to be your mitered corner, okay. Actually, let me pin it just better than this. Okay, great. Well, there you have it, a mitered corner. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go around and just fold this up and pin the whole hem to make a double fold hem. And then you'll do that to the other side as well. So now we will press our double folded hem. This is optional, but I like to do it because it makes it super flat and easier to sew. So where it naturally folded up, you're gonna pin it in place and press it. Okay? So you could press your side slit now in your mitered corner. Okay, and now we'll press the hem. Make sure you push the pins out the way and make sure not to iron over the yellow part of the pins. Okay, you can use some steam there. Okay, now we'll do this side. Okay, now we'll do this slit. Okay, so now you can begin to take the pins out and pass the iron again. Sometimes you may need to pull it a little bit while you're ironing just to get it nice and flat there. Okay, now we'll do this side. Okay, so now we're gonna go to the sewing machine, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna just top stitch right along here. But first, let's take a look at how the front should look like so far. As you remember, we stitched our tie on the side just right along this edge, and we did the same thing with this tie over here. We just stitched it right along this edge. Okay, so let's take a look at the back side of the front. Okay, so what we have here is our hem that we folded up a 1/2 inch and pressed. Okay, we did the same thing with the slit, and then the same thing with this slit over here. Okay, again, to do the miter corner, we take it and we fold this in half like so. Fold this corner in half and just make sure that the sides are matching, and just make sure it's nice and flat. Okay, so from this edge we took it in 1/4 and stitched that. So from here, again, just turn it inside out, make a mitered corner, double fold the hem and press it. So now we will top stitch our hem. Here we have our mitered corner. So just line up the edge of your presser foot with the edge of this fold here, and you're gonna stitch on the inside of this fold here. So back stitch, and then you're just gonna sew on the inside of the fold. Very easy, just a straight top stitch. Okay, I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit here. Okay, so when you get close to the end, you will stop it right here, right before the slit. Just stop it right there. Once you're done top stitching the hem, it will look like this. And this is just a close-up view on where to start and stop your top stitch along the hem. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to check out part 3.